Representative Lori Trahan, Democrat from Massachusetts, the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee co-chair, joining us from Capitol Hill. Representative, thanks for giving us your time.
Thanks for having me.
How would you assess the last 100 days?
Yeah, well, I think these first 100 days since President Trump has been back in office have been the exact opposite of what the American people want, and frankly, what he promised. Costs and chaos, corruption are all on the rise. And when you combine that with the unfettered access and power that he's given Elon Musk to cut programs that people rely on for their health care, for their food assistance, and so much more, it's no wonder that he has the worst numbers of any president in their first 100 days.
For being a Democrat then on Capitol Hill as this goes on, what does it mean for the Democrats in both the House, well, in your case, the House, but also the Senate? What does it mean on pushing back against the administration?
Yeah, I look at this as a three-pronged strategy. Democrats are taking the fight to try to mitigate the damage of this administration every single day. Certainly our most effective tool has been in the courts. Over 200 cases have been brought in the first 100 days with over 100 injunctions and restraining orders on some of these policies. We're taking it to the floor. We have a very slim margin in the House, and so we're making sure that we put the pressure on Republicans. We don't want them to be complicit or rubber stamping this disastrous agenda. And just last month, we brought down a rule on the House floor, and that caused Speaker Johnson to have a temper tantrum and basically send us all home. But then third, we're traveling the country. We have Democrats in every district, our own and also in Republican districts, where they're hiding from their constituents because they don't want to face the music of this administration. And we're offering another option of what we would do and how we can fight back and win. So we're not waiting until those midterms in 2026. We're bringing the fight every single day.
One of the specifics that I guess Democrats in the House will have to consider is work on this legislative bill, including the bill that would include a tax cut. You were quoted as saying if Medicaid cuts are part of that, you were saying that Democrats would make it as, quote, painful as possible. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, I think people are looking at the next 100 days and this Republican House plowing forward with a strategy that would rip health care away from millions of people in this country. That is deeply unpopular. And so we know that we're having those fights in committee rooms, but very shortly we're going to be having that debate on the House floor, and people are going to understand exactly what's at stake. So look, when I think about this administration, and the president liked to ask the question on the campaign trail last year, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Well, I would just pose the question, are you better off than you were 100 days ago? And are you feeling good about the next 100 days? And unless you're a billionaire donor to the Trump campaign, that answer is no.
So is part of the strategy just what you'll say, the type of rhetoric you use? Is there an administrative or legislative strategy you'll try to employ? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I think first and foremost, we don't even have the details yet I sit on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and the Medicaid cuts that could, be upwards of nearly $1 trillion. We don't even have the details on that plan yet. But we're ready because we know where those buckets of costs are that they are targeting. So we're going to fight that battle in the committee room first, making sure that, we could use every tool that we have to make sure that they don't move forward with their plan. And then most importantly, that the American people know what's at stake. And you asked about the first 100 days and the promises that this administration has made. I'll just point out three of them, right? The costs. People right now are struggling. This president promised to lower costs on day one, and instead prices are rising. This reckless trade war is actually it could add $2,000 to $4,000 annually to people's out-of-pocket costs, all while they have deep anxiety around their retirement savings. Secondly, he promised to cut government waste. Instead, Elon Musk has wasted $135 billion in taxpayer dollars, all just to cut $63 billion in government spending. And then third, this president was going to make America healthy again. And RFK Jr. is actively dismantling our healthcare system. He's cutting research that patients rely on. And doing nothing to end the most deadliest measles outbreak that we've had in decades, killing kids in Texas. So I think the slogan for this administration isn't promises made, promises kept. It feels to the American people like these promises have been broken.
You probably heard the comments from the Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker recently about his own party, the Democratic Party. He described them as do-nothing Democrats, do-nothing political types. What do you think of that assessment, especially pushing back against the president?
Look, I think we're using every tool. I mean, one, we're testing this in the courts, our separation of powers and the independence of our court system, and we're having a lot of wins there. That doesn't happen by accident. Democrats are mobilizing those plaintiffs and are working hand in glove with our Democratic attorney generals to bring those lawsuits. Secondly, we are bringing that fight to the floor on the Senate and in the House, and we've had some wins. We've brought down some important rules, and we're taking advantage of the low margin and the deeply unpopular policies that these Republicans are rubber stamping for this administration. And third, we're bringing our case directly to the people. We've won a couple of important special elections, in this year, and there's going to be a few more bellwethers. But we're going to take the case to the American people. We have town meetings in our districts every time we're home. We're mobilizing so that we can take advantage of every opportunity that we have.
Representative Lori Trahan, the co-chair of the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee, Democrat who serves the state of Massachusetts. Representative Trahan, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.